Cannot believe I'm about to record this. This is just, it's heartbreaking. As a Rafa Nadal fan and just as a tennis fan, this US Open was going to be such a momentous occasion with Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer, right? All on 20 slams. And just gone. Federer injured. Doesn't even know if he'll make the tour again. And Nadal ends his 2021 season because of the foot injury, that very unique foot disease that he had since he was very young. A lot of the doctors said that he would never be able to play. Obviously, that wasn't the case. He has gone on to win 20 slams and have a very, very successful career. But he's withdrawn because of it from the US Open, and he will not be playing for the rest of the year. So where does this leave Rafa Nadal? I don't know. He will come into 2022 with a lower ranking, I would assume, as well. Whether he moves down to kind of 5 or 6 or even lower, I don't know. But it's just a huge, huge shock. As someone who I was really looking forward to seeing him at the US Open. It's a surface that normally suits his game quite well. That's why he's won there 4 times, because even though it is a hard court, it plays quite slow, similar to Roland Garros. Just not to be, obviously. And it would be nice to have him challenge Djokovic, both on 20 slams. I mean, it definitely opens up for Djokovic, no doubt, but he's never won a slam when Nadal and Federer have not been in the draw. So I don't know whether that trend will continue. But either way, it's a really big shame, because the US Open was shaping up to be a monumental tournament, one of the biggest and most anticipated Grand Slams in recent times. But yes, it still will be, highly anticipated. Djokovic, can he get in front? Also, the young guns, can they come through? But it's just a shame we're not going to see at least 2 of the big 3 at the US Open. And as a Nadal fan, it's heartbreaking, because genuinely, this is something that he's had for a very long time, and you just don't expect it to rear its head and him not to be able to manage it when it comes to making history, really. So yeah, whether he would have won it at full fitness again, it's a big if. I think obviously Djokovic is the favorite going into that, and then you've got people like Zverev who is playing really, really well at the moment, Tsitsipas as well. But yeah, just terrible news, and it does make you think. And I think I will be doing a video on this. I may as well talk about it now. Is this the end of the big 3? Is this the end of the dominance that we have seen from Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer, where pretty much every slam is won by one of them, right? So every slam for the past 10 years is normally got one of their names by the winner column. It could be, it really could be Djokovic. I think there's less of a question mark around him. But in terms of just a collective, I think Federer, we don't know if he's going to be back. And then I guess you're talking about big 2, but Nadal is out for the season now as well. It's just, I don't know, to be honest with you, as someone, and it's not to be super dramatic and overreact. I think it's just a reality that these guys are coming towards the end of their career. And someone like Nadal, who has a lot of strain on his body in the way that he plays still, even though he has tried to become a bit more aggressive, his body is not really made for longevity like a Djokovic or a Federer. And his game style isn't either. So yes, it's fantastic. It's rock and roll. It's all action. And, I've seen and heard so many people say, they've seen him live, and it's like the most incredible thing to watch. I haven't yet had that pleasure. I don't know if I ever will. But the dude is just a phenomenon. But unfortunately, it's not to be this year in terms of winning a slam. He will go the whole of 2021 without winning a slam. And yeah, I mean, it would have been a very good chance for him, I think, at the US Open if he was 100% fit, but just not to be. Roger Federer, I don't know if we're ever going to see him back in a competitive like competitive tournament, is he going to be even 50%, 60% of the Roger that, we have all come to love? I don't know. And Novak, I mean, I think for Novak, to be fair to him, he has the biggest chance of just cleaning up. But again, it's going to be more, I think for him, it's less physical and more mental. He now is joint on 20 slams. He's never been at that point where he's been equal. He's never been at the point where he's been in front. There's going to be a lot of pressure on him, and there's a lot of expectation on him now to just win them. Will that added pressure play on his mind? Will he self-implode, which, to be honest, is almost bizarre and a crazy thing to say because he's so mentally tough, but we have seen it kind of come to the surface at times, like in the Olympics, right? In that bronze medal match where he threw the racket and, not in the crowd, that's not, I mean, it's not great, but there's no crowd there, but it was more when he threw it against the net and it smashed. So clearly it does come to a head at some point for him. That meant a lot to him, and the US Open will mean a lot to him as well. So I think he will come through some tricky moments. The field and him on hard courts is a lot smaller than the gap is a lot smaller than on grass, and that's actually weird to say because Djokovic's best surface, I think, still is hard courts, but I think he's just a lot more experienced and skilled than the rest on grass. That the gap is a lot bigger. They're a lot less experienced, and they just, I don't know, they haven't adapted as well movement wise, and maybe just haven't had as many matches on there yet to be to be a real threat. Whereas on the hard courts, Australian Open's played on there. Obviously, most of the tournaments are played on hard courts. The majority of them are anyway. So they have a bigger advantage there in terms of, I guess, experience, match practice, etc. So let's see. I mean, I would be very surprised if none of them win another slam. I think Djokovic has a few left in him for sure. And Nadal, I want to say he's got 2 left in him, but I don't know. Federer, I think, we're not going to see him win another slam. I just hope he comes back and makes a good run at a tournament, hopefully Wimbledon next year. But could this be it? I mean, could this be the end of an era? We kept on talking. I've since the channel started nearly a year ago, I've kept on talking about, are we going to see the change of guard? Are we going to see the passing of the torch where these youngsters finally come through and they start winning slams? And it hasn't happened. These guys, these 3 GOATs have just pushed them back. Especially, I guess, Djokovic and Nadal, I guess, because Federer hasn't won a slam since 2019. But look, all 3 have knocked out the talents, the guys coming through, the people that are not just even young prospects anymore. They are in their prime, your Dominic Thiems, etc. So Dominic Thiem won a Grand Slam, but it's when none of them were playing it. That's not to take away his achievement, but I think that kind of proves it a little bit. He's made quite a few finals, and he's lost all of them in those finals. So it's very, very interesting to see. We've got Medvedev, Thiem, Tsitsipas, Zverev. Off the top of my head, those are the guys kind of coming through. Thiem, we know, has already won a slam and is kind of a little bit older. So I won't say that he is one of the next gen, but it's sad. It's really sad. As a Rafa fan, I'm gutted. It has to be said. Anyways, what can you do? I'll probably do a more in-depth video on the big 3 because I'm sure I'll have a lot of stats to come up with, and I think it's something that I've had as a note to talk about, the passing of the torch, and I think it's now coming to a head slowly but surely. And I think the big 3 has probably been dismantled. Is it the big 2? Is it the big 1? I don't know, but I think the big 3 is kind of no longer where we're going to see these 3, taking up 3 of the 4 semi-final spots, or even you know, 3 of the 8 quarterfinal spots. I mean, Federer, we just don't know if he's going to even make it back on court. Hopefully he does. Cool. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. Please remember to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It really does help us out. I really do appreciate it. If you do as well want to be a incredible quality shot follower, supporter, and advocate, then do also get involved on Patreon. You can contribute as little as £1 a month for some quality perks, you know, for requests of videos, the types of videos you'd like me to do, call outs, you know, exclusive content, etc. as well. So there's quite a bit on there. There's 3 different tiers, but as I said, there's the £1, I think it's £1, £3, and £5. So all in GBP. Great British pounds. Right, okay, thank you very much, guys. I'll see you on the next video. Stay safe and well, and yeah, Rafa.